And welcome back to Troll Time. I'm your host, Ivan D. Curtis, aka the Troll King. And this is a show where we talk sports, movies, or anything thought provoking. Today we'll be talking opening night of the NBA and also week 7 of the NFL. We splitting it up. We used to do we did NFL and college together, but now we're gonna split it up and make it separate episodes. And when I say we, I mean no other than my right hand man, A Willie. What's going on with you, brother?
Hey man, I'm happy to be. I'm repping because 23, 24, actually 20 years ago, it's a Netflix documentary on it, man. I worked in scouting for the Boston Red Sox. The manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, that's a Mookie Betts sweatshirt there. Dave Roberts stole the most important base in Red Sox history. Uh, hey, what the song say? I got a story to tell, man. I played a big part in that. And I know people don't want to give me the credit, but I played a big part in Dave Roberts becoming the Boston Red Sox, stealing that base, making history, and making history as a manager for the Dodgers. Hey, I'm also repping too, man, when we won that World Series in '04 as well. So let's get into it, man.
Nah, no doubt. Hey, one day I'm gonna dedicate. We're gonna dedicate a piece so people can really get the breakdown and backstory on Antonio Williams. Uh, Last night, opening night in the NBA, of course, we had Celtics Knicks open up. Then to close it out, we had the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Man, the Celtics came out on fire, and it didn't go out until late in the fourth quarter when I think they missed 13 straight threes to
Man,
try to break the record. It was tied at 29. But, man, Jason Tatum, man, looked like a man on a mission. 37 points, 10 rebounds, was 14 at 18, 8 for 11 from the three-point line. Just was unstoppable, man. That shooting performance was like something I hadn't seen in a while. I mean, first of all, they took 61 threes. Now, they hit 29 of them. Still shot 47.5%, shot 50% from the field, and 87% from the free throw line. Now, Jaylen Brown, 23 points. Derek White, 24 points. Jrue Holiday, 18 points. And Al Horford, 11. And then you had Hauser come off the bench for 10. But I do want to say this before I pass the rock over to you. If you look at the Knicks, man, they shot 55%, 36% from the three, 75% from the line. If you look totally off stats, you would have thought this was a closer game. And they shot great. They just didn't play any defense. Some bright spots. McBride, Deuce McBride, he got 22 points off the bench. Probably not the night they were expecting at a Cat. Only 12 points, 7 rebounds. Jalen Brunson, 22 points. I know it's just one game, opening night. Mikal Bridges, 16 points. This one night, but a lot of teams look like they got some things to kind of get into rhythm and see where everybody fits. But just your take, Willie, on opening night of the NBA and then starting with the Knicks and the Celtics.
of course, because we love the sport, man. Make sure that we're excited about it. But I know you have been mentioning it on some of your posts, man. Like that energy and that excitement of years past in terms of being really amped up about the season starting. And maybe it's different for you and I because, again, as you said, we have a story to tell, man. Like we work for teams. And when you work for teams and you work in a league, maybe you look at it differently in terms of the opening nights and all that. But man, I was way more excited about the W started. I'm amped about women's college basketball. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know if it's I don't know what it is, but maybe as the season continues to go on, maybe my excitement will continue to grow. I'm sure it will. I'll be dialed in anyway. But man, couple things. It was interesting because I was watching. I talked about it yesterday, man, when we were talking. I talked about Jason Tatum and Mikal Bridges both refining their respective shooting forms. And Jason Tatum looked really good, and Mikal Bridges 2 for 7 from three. You would like to see him be a little more accurate. The other thing I'd like to see, man, and this is just me nitpicking. When you make 29 threes, I guess you don't have to worry about that. The Celtics shot 8 free throws. Jason Tatum shot 2, I believe. And if there's one thing when you look at Jason Tatum's game from a scouting perspective, if you can disrupt his patterns defensively, sometimes he doesn't get to the line as much as he should. But man, if he had got to the line, he actually increased his free throw shooting prowess in terms of the number of attempts last year. But man, if he got 7 or 8 free throws, 9 or 10 free throws, he would have had a 50 ball last night, man. So, it was, I don't take a whole lot out of it. I know the Celtics were focused. That was great to see. But I know the Knicks have to continue to incorporate some of their pieces. And you talked about it from a defensive standpoint. Probably their best frontline defender wasn't playing. And you can also say that for the Celtics also, man. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing both of these teams compete in the Eastern Conference and be at full strength.
Yeah, now that game that we were talking about, of course, the Celtics and the Knicks. The Celtics ran away with it 132 to 109. The opening quarter, they have scored 43 points. And like I said, they shot lights out from the beginning all the way into the end. 29 threes that it tied a league record. I believe that's held by the Milwaukee Bucks, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
And they were trying to break that joker. They shot through. They missed 13 straight trying to break that joker, man.
Yeah. I thought that was so hilarious. I'm like, and they was getting wide open looks.
They were absolutely
to knock it down. But we'll see how the Knicks. Obviously, the Celtics was looking like they in mid-season form, which is they got it's the core of their team. I mean, it's not too many changes. And then the one thing I said about the Celtics is their core is full of youth. Like there's no old guys except for if you want to say that Al Horford, but but I think his style of play fits in perfect with the core of that team. So I don't really declare him as old or anything like that. I mean, a vet, yes, but his game is perfect for what they need him to do.
No question.
And then Porzingis is just a health issue here and there, but just a great night to be a Celtic fan. The raising of the banner, the 18th banner.
Hey, stop talking about that, man. He's got to get an 18 to that purple and gold, man.
Hey, man. And we're going to get to that. But, next game, there's only 2 games last night. Talk about this game as well. The Timberwolves and the Lakers. The Lakers pulled away. In the second quarter, they kind of took control of the game, and they won the game 110 to 103. Anthony Davis had a monster game with 36 points, 16 rebounds. I like Rui. I liked him last season. I always thought he was a bright spot for them and a great pickup when they stole him from Washington. But he had 18 points. LeBron James, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Austin Reeves, 12 points. D'Angelo Russell, 9 points. And then Jackson Hayes was a spark plug off the bench with 10 points and 4 rebounds. Minnesota, man. Anthony Davis had 27 on 25 shots. Shot 5 for 13 from 3, though. And then you had Rudy Gobert, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Naz Reid, 12 points, 4 rebounds. And then Julius Randle, 16 points, 9 rebounds. But aside from that, it just didn't seem like no fluidity and continuity with Minnesota in the half court.
Right.
It just looked. I didn't think them losing Cat was gonna look like that. Like it literally. I think, of course, it's going to improve, but they just seem so out of sync, and Anthony Edwards seemed out of sync to a degree. He's the ultimate shot creator, so he's going to find a way to get a shot up. But just in the flow of the game, I just didn't see too much from Minnesota. Aside from the headliner, of course, the topic that everybody's talking about, Of course, history was made last night. LeBron and Bronny touched the court together.
Man, I thought you was talking about Rudy Gobert got broke off again.
Hey, he never passes up a chance to get dunked on. But yeah, this no, the LeBron and Bronny. I kind of, people gonna have their opinions. I mean, it's sports and entertainment. I tell people that's the category. People think it's just sports, but it's sports and entertainment.
Right.
And I like how they did it. Did it, got it out the way, and they actually won. Would have been we probably wouldn't have seen it if it was a game that was going to be out of reach or anything like that, because it wouldn't have met probably as much. But Bronny didn't. He's been consistent. These was almost like summer league numbers. 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 1. Only played 3 minutes. Grabbed the offensive rebound. But just something dope to see. I mean, I posted on Facebook. I said, something that I got to see before eventually I get cremated. We'll see how it progresses, man. But I wouldn't take too much from it. I think the Lakers had bigger issues to worry about down the stretch when you're talking about Russell and Reeves and what they're going to be able to contribute. Because for them, it's all about making the playoffs and trying to make a run. It's not just any old season for the Lakers. I mean, LeBron is running on fumes, and it's all about winning now. But your take, A. Willie, on the Lakers and Timberwolves game.
Again, Minnesota is in the same, of course, they're in the same boat as the Knicks because they made the blockbuster trade with the Knicks in terms of trying to incorporate these new pieces that are big pieces and trying to incorporate them. And a lot of times, it's funny, man. I think Karl Anthony Towns, and it's going to sound funny when I say this, but I think Karl Anthony Towns, even though they all play different roles when I say this, Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle, and Bronny James in this manner were all in the same boat last night, which is trying to find their rhythms with these big moments, new teammates, completely new situations, trying to find where you fit in that situation. And again, yes, Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle are all-stars. So I'm not saying Bronny is an all-star. So I know we like to troll time, but all you troll people, that's not what I'm saying. Be nuanced in your listening. But I'm saying when you are a Bronny James, when you are a Karl Anthony Towns, when you are a Julius Randle, you're trying to find where you fit without upsetting the apple cart. And you can see that with both of those teams in terms of, all right, where do I assert myself? And especially when you're a player like Bronny with so many things that are going on, you get sort of heaped in the spotlight and heaved in the spotlight. And then you have to really figure out, okay, where do I fit? Where does my game fit best where I can really contribute and not just be a pedestrian and be on the floor? I have to actually make things happen. And one of the things I would like to see as it relates to Bronny is, and you hear this a lot. You hear a lot about Bronny being a great kid, which he is a great kid. You hear him, especially given the fact that he's in the situation that he's in. There's a lot of humility that comes with that. That means that Bronny was raised right. Shout out to Savannah, LeBron, and Gloria on that. But I will say this. You know this, and I know this. What did LeBron say at the end of that press conference? It's a privilege to be a part of that 450. So when you're part of that 450, a little over 5,000 people in the history of the world have played in the NBA. So humility is great, but you know what you also better be? You better be a damn dog, man. So sometimes when I see Bronny, I sometimes think he's trying too hard to play a role. I'm just going to play defense. Man, damn all that, man. Like, go out there and assert yourself. Like when I was working with Phoenix, we would interview prospects. And yes, I would tell them, man, if scoring is going to be your calling card, you have to be so damn good to be a scorer if you're going to get minutes early. Yes, that's true. But at the same time, if you are a scorer, man, you better get some shots up and you better score, because being in those locker rooms are like when you're part of that 450 and it's so competitive. Um, yes, you have a brotherhood, but you also have guys looking for the easiest meals as well. So if you come in, there's that line. There's one side is humility, on the other side is being too cocky. Now you have to walk that line, and sometimes you have to know when you need to veer on the other side of being cocky. And in order to survive in this league, there has to be some arrogance. There has to be some cockiness. You have to believe that you belong. And the way that you do that is you go out there, you try to make shit happen, man. So I want to see Bronny play with a little more, not worry so much. And man, you open, shoot it. You can take somebody, take them. You can lock somebody down, put that seatbelt on their ass and lock them down. Sometimes I feel like he's a little too humble, man. Damn all that. Believe in you.
No, I'm with that. And before we hop on over to the NFL, just some games on tap tonight. Only, ESPN, you got the Bucks and 76ers, which Joel Embiid and Paul George will be out, so I don't know what to make of that game.
Can I get into that with you?
And then the 10 o'clock game, you got the Phoenix Suns and the Clippers, which is, man, I'm going to fight to stay up, man, for them West Coast games. But I'm telling you, I was struggling, bro. I was struggling. Hey, but let's kick it on over to the NFL, man. We got Week 7 recap. Thursday night, of course, Broncos and the Saints. Not a whole lot to talk about here. Broncos 33-10 over the Saints. They improved to 4-3. Saints dropped to 2-5. And then, some headliner games that we want to talk about. Bills and Titans. Josh Allen went to work against the Titans, man. Passed for over 300 yards, 323 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keon Coleman, 4 catches, 125, which I was happy for the young man. He's an easy guy to love, whether you like football or whether you like the Bills. But good win by the Bills. And then you got the Bengals and the Browns, the Battle of Ohio, which is both teams are really not doing all that great right now. But the Bengals 3-4 now. Trying to catch a stride, after starting out slow. Surprisingly, they 3-1 on the road. Haven't been able to get it done at home. That's been the thing. But the headline, of course, in that game was Deshaun Watson being carted off the field. Some fans, man, they being fans, not representing every fan, of course. But it was a big uproar about the behavior of some of the fans, whether it was just Browns fans or Bengals fans. I'm not really gonna get too far in depth with this, but I will say I like what Jameis Winston, how he stood up for Deshaun Watson, because at the end of the day, man, these pro athletes, we don't know. We don't know them. Like we know them. We know of them because of the sport that they play. But we don't, all the accusations and everything like that, I leave that into the court of the law, but not so much a public opinion. But like Jameson said, he know that. He know him. Like, he worked with him every day. Like, there's somebody he talked to and somebody he's invested a lot of time with. So it's just unfortunate, because still, even though at the end of the day, these players are suiting up, to represent that city, and give it they all, man. And even with, nobody could imagine what Deshaun Watson is going through but him. Like, he's the only one that has to go through it. Wishing him a healthy and speedy recovery. But just an unfortunate chain of events. You got anything you want to say about that before I move on?
Man, I'll say this. Part of the reason money is does a lot as it relates to how people view professional athletes. The rise in costs and ticket prices, the rise in costs in Sunday ticket, the concessions when you go to the game, how much the jerseys cost, all these things that people pay to be fans of this game makes them feel a sense of entitlement, meaning that they feel like they can say and do whatever it is that they want to say and do. And you're seeing that trickle into the college game, especially as we talk about with certain players, right? With certain players. Because I remember people talking about how much money Cooper Flag got to go to Duke, but everybody's talking about what AJ DeBass getting as he's being recruited right now as a top recruit in the country in basketball, and everybody is counting his money. Man, stop pocket hustling. And when you counting somebody's money and you in their pockets, I just think it makes people feel like they have a sense of entitlement. And the other thing I'll say about money as well, as much as Deshaun is the GOAT as it relates to guaranteed money from the quarterback position in a contract, man, when that dude popped his Achilles, and I know what that feels like when you pop your Achilles, because I've done it. But when that dude popped his Achilles, he cried. So again, people when they talk about money and when they're in athletes' pockets, what do they say? They always say, "Man, these dudes they make all this money, they don't care." Did you see that dude getting carted off? And you see those tears? That was real.
Right.
And if you thought that, oh man, I could just go home to my Bentley, I got a beautiful woman at home, I got generational after, I have wealth for multiple generations set up. If you think that football doesn't matter to that dude, watch that, man. Watch that dude get carted off and cry. So, and got surgery immediately. And I guess that tells you that this dude is trying to get back to the form that we saw him as a top three quarterback in the league. So I just say that, man, money really dehumanizes people. It dehumanizes athletes to as it relates to the fans, and sometimes we just fail to see these guys as humans because of the money that they make and the money that you're charged. And when we talk about the money, we always talk about when we pocket hustle and we count money. We always talk about athletes, but we don't talk about owners and leagues.
No, true that. I mean, and the crazier thing is that all this stuff comes full circle because if we didn't pay the money to watch them, then it would be a whole different story. But I evidently we feel like they worth it because we pay the money to see them perform. So go figure. Uh,
Exactly.
Moving on to the next game, man. Got my heart broken, man. Texans lost a tough one to the Green Bay Packers, man. A minute 44 left. Texans kick a field goal, go up one. Then in 8 plays later, Green Bay is kicking a 44-yard field goal to win the game. Brandon McManus kicked the game-winning field goal for the Green Bay. Now, one of the things, man, when we was watching this game, well, not watching it, but I was talking to my buddies because one of my friends, he's Derek Franklin. He's a Texans fan. He's from Houston.
Okay.
He was like, "Yeah, man, CJ not gonna lose this game." And then one of my other partners said, "Man, better not let Jordan Love get the ball back." And sure enough, he got the ball back and actually got the better end of this game. I couldn't believe, man, how keyed in the Packers was, man. They wasn't giving up nothing. CJ was 10 for 21 at 86 yards, sacked, numerous times. And then Jordan Love, he threw for 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Was 24 for 33. And that was, pretty much the tail of the tape. Mixon got it done on the ground, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. But a great game, man, overall. The Packers, tough to beat in Lambeau at the end of the day, man. Tough team, but tougher to beat at home, man. It's just it's always been like that, and I don't see it being any other way when you play Green Bay. Moving on, Lions and Vikings, man. The Lions, man, they getting it done, bro. 31-29 over the Vikings. I kind of had the Vikings going into it because they're playing at home once again, but man, Dan Campbell got them guys. He got them guys rocking and rolling, man. And we thought he was a madman when he took over the job.
Biting kneecaps and ankles, and he's still doing that.
Yeah. Now Minnesota jumped out to a 10-0 lead, and then Detroit scored 21 unanswered, man, and they pretty much controlled the game after that. But yeah, just it still came down to a thriller, late field goal to win the game by Detroit. But got any thoughts on Detroit, Minnesota? Jared Goff, 280 yards. Sam Darnold, 259 yards. It was a great game, man. Great game.
Man, you just mentioned the last two games mentioned. Packers, Texans, Lions, Vikings. 4 California quarterbacks playing at a high level. Let's get it. So, but no, man, it's fun to watch. It's great to, when you watch Sam Darnold and, everybody that's tuning in and walking with us, I want to say it again. I am a USC Trojan fan from having roots in LA, #fight on. So I've seen Sam Darnold a lot, man, and I've seen Sam Darnold make some Sam Darnold plays on both sides of the spectrum, good and bad. And for the most part, he's been pretty consistent, making good plays, keeping the ball out of harm's way for the most part. But yeah, to watch those two teams battle at that top of the NFC North, and then to your point, what you said about the Packers, man, the NFC North is no joke. And then, if you believe it or not, another quarterback, #fight on, Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. The Bears are 4-2, man. Like, if the NFC North continues to do this right now, it is the best division in football. And you have these quarterbacks driving the bus, man. And, but the key, as we talk about all the time, is making sure that you get that complementary football and making sure your defense is playing at a high level. That's something to pay attention to with Detroit, as they lost Aiden Hutchinson, which you never want to see. So that's going to be something to pay attention to moving forward. But Jared Goff, man, like it is playing really, really high level quarterback, but they also had the best 2 running backs in the league in terms of a tandem in Detroit. So yeah, man, I'm excited to continue to see what's going on this season, in particular with that division, and watch how these quarterbacks continue to do their thing.
Yeah, tough, man. They're gonna be. I don't know. The Detroit looking scary, man. Was tough last year, and only getting tougher. Anxious to see what they do as the season progresses. Moving on, we had the Eagles and the Giants. And needless to say, Saquon was pretty excited.
Hold up. I see. I can't let you go without this, man. You can't just say that and just move on like that. You got to tell the Troll Time community who you used to be with before you moved to Houston.
Oh, I was gonna get to that.
Okay.
But what A. Willie is talking about is I was a Giants fan from the 80s all the way up until probably a few years ago. When they signed Danny Dimes, who ain't threw a dime, I had to get up and I had to get up out of there because they showed me they didn't care that much about the team, about the fans, and then on top of it, to mention that Saquon didn't get paid.
Man.
And that's why he's with the Eagles. So 176 yards later and a touchdown and a 28-3 butt ass whooping.
Man.
I don't have too much to say about it. That was the highlight. The one thing I will point out that I like the clip of where Sirianni went to talk to Saquon about breaking his own record. And Saquon was like, "Nah, let the young boys eat or whatever." And I think he did it. He did his job and got it over with. They came out of there with a dub, so I think he was excited about that. You know, Eagles move on to 4-2. Lions. I didn't say this. The Lions and Vikings are now both 5-1. Like I said, the Eagles move on to 4-2, 28-3, ass whooping. The Giants are going to pay for their sins.
Yeah.
They are paying for their sins, like this. So, that's what it's going to come down to. Next up, only because A. Willie is a
Oh, my
Raiders fan.
gosh, man.
Because any other, I would skip past this game. But
Oh,
I'm gonna lead this to A. Willie to see if he got any thoughts or anything about the Raiders and Rams. The Rams walked away with a 20-15 victory over the Raiders. Not a lot to see here. Honestly, I didn't tune in to watch it. That was one game I didn't bounce back and forth to watch. But hey, Willie, any words for the hometown team?
man, you know what? I got to ask you this. I need to know what moving company you got to get you out of the Meadowlands and that got you to out
Hey
of
man, I
MetLife.
didn't
I'm
even
sorry.
I didn't
What?
even need no moving company. I left everything in New York. Hey, we start fresh.
Yeah, man, because I might be moving. I might be in Baltimore any second here, man, because I feel like just watching this team again. I said this before Friday. My 10-year-old daughter, who just turned 10 years old 2 days ago, shout out baby Jordan, Air Jordan. Um, I'm going to say this, man. I knew anybody, she would have known at the beginning of this season that we don't have any hope at the quarterback position. She would have known that. So for us to be playing musical chairs at quarterback, even before Aiden McConnell got hurt, is so predictable. Is what it reminds me of. You know, we talk about the W on this show. What it reminds me of is it's almost starting to feel like it's a setup for Antonio Pierce, another LA cat that I'm rooting for, man. Where you come in, you provide a certain type of identity. You create a bond with the players. They want you to coach the team, and then they move on. And that's what it's starting to feel like because, similar to what we would say, I mentioned the W, to what happened to Teresa Weatherspoon with the Chicago Sky this year. Take over a bad situation, provide an identity, get a little bit of hope. Thank you for your service. It's time to move on. And that's what it's starting to feel like, man. It's starting to feel like a setup in Vegas. And I don't know if I'm down with that, especially given the fact that, when you had quarterbacks on the market like Russell Wilson, you had Justin Fields. And again, am I telling you that Justin Fields is Lamar Jackson, where I'm spending a lot of time in Baltimore and I'm openly doing that? Am I telling you that? No. But they're better than anything that we have on our roster, and they were available. And so for me, it's hard to look at this team. It's hard to know that this was going to happen and see it happen and have a level of sympathy, man. It's really hard.
I understand, but get out of there.
Man,
Save yourself.
Hey, we got to go coming to America. I got to go to Vegas and be, hey, put your mama on. I'm going to be in Baltimore. Put your mama on the phone. Yeah, I ain't coming home.
Right. Hey, had the Commanders and Panthers. Commanders convincing 40-7 win. They improved to 5-2. Jaden Daniels left the game early with a rib injury, and in comes Mariota. And man, it's always something about quarterbacks that's just waiting to win, man, waiting for another shot. And he came in and went 18 for 23, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. Man, but what about the Commanders, man? Like, I mean, they looking pretty good. I mean, and it's nice to know that if Mariota can back Jaden Daniels up like that, then they're in good shape. Or if Jaden Daniels is going to be out for any extended time, they know that they may have something sturdy back there under center. So good to see we Jaden Daniels fans over here. So
Absolutely.
good to see the Commanders get another dub. Fast forward, Chiefs 49ers. The Chiefs just found a way to keep getting it done, man. And in this game, it was unfortunate. A lot of injuries, some key
Man.
injuries took place in this game. I'm going to let you carry this away, A. Willie, but a 28-18 win over the 49ers. The 49ers dropped the 3-4, not the season that they were expecting for sure. Your thoughts, A. Willie, on Chiefs defeating the 49ers?
Man, again, go in there and when you have a chance to win, what's the celebration that we seeing in the NFL now? People putting on the poo shiesty and kicking in the door. Hey, man, you better kick in the door when you have an opportunity. And that's what's going on with the 49ers now. I'm not going to say they're done because they got a lot of injuries. Maybe some of these guys can come back, but you just don't know when. Debo was sick. And then you got, the best running back outside of Derrick Henry in the NFL with Christian McCaffrey has not played this year. Man, when you have an opportunity to kick in the door, you better kick in the door and stop playing with it, man. So that's what we're seeing with the 49ers. I'm not sitting up here saying that their window is closed, but you just don't know from a year-to-year basis, especially in people get it twisted. Basketball is a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. When you play a collision sport, even with basketball, we're seeing this, man. You just don't know what the injury gods when they will strike. So when you have an opportunity to kick in the door, you better do it, man. And that's what you're seeing with the 49ers. And to your point, on the other side of that, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, that's exactly what they do, kick in the door. And when they have an opportunity to win, they're looking to maximize that. Henceforth, they try and go get DeAndre Hopkins. So maximize your window, because everybody says, we'll be back. Man, your ass don't know if you're going to be back. So it's just watching Patrick Mahomes, man, like not playing the best, but is finding ways to win games. And when you play that quarterback position, you're ultimately measured by those wins and losses. And yeah, man, he has all the tools to make it aesthetically pleasing. Throw for 400 yards, 5 TDs, and he can do all that. But he's also the type of quarterback that we have a lot of quarterbacks that play in this game. Dak Prescott is one of them, that it seems like that's the only way he can win. It's got to look pretty. I got to front run. I got to be able to, keep my jersey clean and not be under duress when I'm playing the position. Man, Patrick Mahomes wins however, just like Pac and Jodeci, man. How do you want it? However you want it, man. Like, that's how Patrick Mahomes gets it done. And I see every week you see it, man.
Yeah, now that's interesting you say that because, I think he's tied for leading the league in interceptions with 8. But that's why I understand like the extreme criticism that we give to superstars because they're superstars. Right. But at the end of the day, I mean, we judge individual players based off a team sport, and
right.
He's one of those quarterbacks that has a little leeway to play how he plays, and sometimes they still come out victorious because of the team is good, and they built to win each and every week, and speaking on being built to win, man, like you say, going out and getting Hopkins, man, Mahomes was blessed to get Worthy. That's a real nice piece for them. And then now to get Hopkins, he can make any. The one thing I like about Mahomes, if you can get open, you'll get that rock.
No question.
Like and that's all that really matters, man. And talking about the headlines, Jets and Steelers, man. A lot of motion going on in this game. Steelers walk away with a 37-15 win. I'm gonna set the table and then I'm gonna let A. Willie eat. But Russell Wilson gets the start over Justin Fields. Honestly, you know, I'm a former Buck, so I wasn't a big fan of Justin being benched after, you know, winning some games. But hey, it's the nature of the business, so I get it. And then on the other hand, you got Aaron Rodgers gets his right hand man and Devontae Adams.
He ain't over my shoulder, by the way that he came into the picture over Aaron's shoulder on Pat McAfee's show. I just want to say that.
Yeah, yeah. I seen that. Because I'm a big Pat fan, so I like the unorthodox shows, man. I don't really care about the traditional sports shows, but yeah, just you know, Devontae Adams' first game with the Jets didn't go as well as they liked. Russell Wilson, man, he's a winner, but it never looks good, man. It hardly looks good. Like, you know, I made a joke about him throwing 10-yard ducks, and the receivers happen to become acrobats because they made some extreme catches in that game. But just overall, just to get some stats real quick, Aaron Rodgers did throw for 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And then Russell Wilson, man, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. Najee Harris ran hard for 102 yards, 1 touchdown. George Pickens woke up, 5 receptions, 111 yards, a touchdown. Then on the other hand, man, Breece Hall, man, is a monster, man.
Like, yeah, he's a beast.
6 catches, 103 yards. Only ran for 38 yards, but definitely was a threat in the air. And then, you know, just great defense play by the Steelers, making Aaron Rodgers, man, you know, he's struggling out there, man. Just your quick thoughts on Jets and Steelers.
Man, you know, talking about when you playing with confidence and you doing what you have to do. The quarterback position in the NFL, with how fast and how great the defensive linemen are in terms of generating pressure, how fast the linebackers are with generating pressure and getting into coverage. Sometimes when you have a zone blitz, some of those defensive linemen drop back into coverage and the linebackers blitz. You have that. You have defensive backs that blitz. You have defensive backs that are great in coverage as well. When you play that quarterback position, you can't throw the ball, wait for somebody to get open and have like 3-4 yards of separation and then throw it. You got to have enough confidence in yourself to take a couple risks. That's what Russell Wilson did. That's what they didn't do as much as it relates to Justin Fields. I wanted Justin Fields to do well. Sometimes, and there were some throws that Justin Fields made down the field. It was like, damn, that's a great throw. Maybe it was dropped. Maybe he put it in a place where only that receiver could get it. He wasn't turning the ball over, but you could see that they didn't release him and really let him play that quarterback position. And that was one game also where George Pickens was in a pitch count, and Mike Tomlin said it. Yeah, we deliberately had him on a pitch count. So you have your best weapon, and you have your quarterback that's trying to find his way, and the best receiver is on a pitch count, only playing certain plays, not being targeted as much. That's holding your quarterback a little bit. That's holding them back some. So for me, man, you saw them open the offense up more with Russ, and part of it is because Russ isn't afraid to throw the ball down the field. He threw less interceptions last year in Denver. I think he had 26 touchdowns, only 8 picks. So it wasn't like he was throwing a ton of picks last year. So them benching him in Denver just came down to the fact that they didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay him significantly more because he would have hit certain milestones. That's what it came down to. So for me, they opened their playbook up some. They opened the offense up, and Russ is confident enough to go out there and do some things and not, play where you're not worried about putting the ball in harm's way, but also he's not afraid to throw a guy open. And when you play that quarterback position in the NFL, you got to be able to do some of that as well. You got to be able to have the confidence that I got to fit some balls in some tight windows. And that's what you're seeing with Russ. So again, like I was saying with Bronny earlier, I want to see Justin Fields, man, like not put so much pressure on himself. Just go out there and play the position and trust the talent and the work that you put in, and trust your talent, man, because you're immensely talented. Damn what everybody else is saying. Be confident in yourself.
True that, true that. And moving along, uh, I think Monday Night Football. That was a Sunday Night Football game. Monday Night Football game, doubleheader. Ravens, Buccaneers, Chargers, Cardinals. Cardinals defeat the Chargers 17-15. They moved to 3-4. Chargers dropped to 3-3 at 500. Just some quick numbers, real quick. Justin Herbert, 349 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. That's tough. And J.K. Dobbins, 14 carries, 40 yards. James Conner, 19 carries, 101 yards. Kyler Murray, 14 for 26, 145 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Good win by the Cardinals. And then getting to the main event, man. Buccaneers, Ravens, because we like Lamar over in these parts. Willie, I don't know what he's waiting on to get there, but they defeat the Buccaneers 41-31. And man, did Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson put on a show.
Man,
Lamar Jackson, 17-22, 281 yards, 5 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 15 carries, 169 yards. Rashad Bateman, 4 catches, 121 yards, 1 touchdown. Baker Mayfield didn't disappoint as well outside of the two interceptions. 370 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was a great game to watch, man. Ravens, they pulled away with it between the second and third quarter. 34 straight points scored, and then a late run by the Bucks to kind of make it look respectable, as we say. And then Goodwin goes down, man, and that became I knew it was going to become a tough topic, for Coach, man, because at the end of the day, it's one way people look at it like, oh man, you quitting on, if he wouldn't have had the starters in the game, would it be in a 10-point game? No matter how much time was left on the clock or whatever, it would have been all they gave up or whatever. And then now they left him out there, and then somebody gets hurt. So now it's, hindsight being 2020.
Right.
He probably would change it, but I like what Coach said, man, is they football players, man, and these things happen. But your thoughts, just more so on Lamar and Derrick Henry, man, looking like MVP 1 and 2 candidates.
Man, Lamar Jackson is the best player in the NFL right now. Anything else? He's the best player in the NFL right now. And the crazy part about it, man, is, the Ravens lost 2 games. One, ironically, to my Raiders, where they blew a lead. They blew a fourth quarter lead. I think they were up by 10 in the fourth. They blew that. And then the Ravens are a blown fourth quarter lead to, ironically, the Raiders, and an Isaiah Likely toe from being undefeated, man. The Ravens should actually be undefeated. And that was even when they were trying to incorporate, because remember, there was all this talk about how they used Derrick Henry and all that when they lost those first 2 games, and they should have won both of those 2 games, even without maximizing Derrick Henry. Man, what they're doing from an offensive standpoint, here's the other thing. If you really watch the game, the offensive line is not playing well. So the Ravens have to clean up what's going on with the offensive line, and they got to clean up the penalties, man. They are a highly penalized team. So if they can clean those 2 things up, man, and keep Derrick Henry upright, man, what they're doing. And again, when you have Lamar, because here's the other thing that they're doing with Lamar, when you see the maturation and the graduation of Lamar Jackson, The other thing that's happening too is they're winning games when they get down. They got down 10-0 against the Buccaneers. They've been down double digits. I think they got down in the Cincinnati game as well. So they win games when they're down and then they come back. So they're doing that, not just running the ball. Lamar's throwing the ball well too, man. So like, man, it's almost like they get down and it's almost looking like the Chiefs were like, all right, we get down, but we got that dude back there, 8. Now, in addition to 8, they got 22 back there as well. So, man, watching them play, if they can clean up the penalties, play better defense. They got to play better defense because they ain't stopping nobody either. But if they can play better defense and clean up those penalties, man, I'll be in Baltimore even quicker and be living in Baltimore.
No, just some other quick notes, some unfortunate injuries. Mike Evans had left that game as well with a hamstring. But before that, he caught a 25-yard touchdown pass with put him in great company, which is he's a sure Hall of Famer. But
Right.
joined Hall of Famers Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison, and Terrell Owens as the only players to have scored at least 100 touchdown receptions in their first 11 seasons of their career. He has been a dog, no matter who's the quarterback, no matter what the team is. Hope he gets better. That's been a nagging injury that he's had. And then another player, man, Marlon Humphrey, who had a phenomenal night. He went down in that game as well. He had 2 interceptions in that game. So just hoping that these guys get a speedy, healthy recovery. Looking forward to next week. Just some games on the radar. Of course, Thursday night football, you got Minnesota, Los Angeles. Philadelphia and Cincinnati will be one to look at. Baltimore, Cleveland. Jets in New England, only just to see what Aaron Rodgers and Adams cook up. Houston at Indianapolis at Houston. Kansas City at the Raiders. But mainly what I want to see, the 2 later is Chicago, Washington. I got to keep checking this week to see what's going on with Jayden Daniels. I'd love to see them 2 young cats fight it out. And then Dallas and San Francisco is the Sunday night football game. And then to top it off at the end of the week is New York and Pittsburgh on Monday night football. And that'll do it, man. Hey, Willie, you got anything you want to get off your chest?
Stop money, stop pocket hustling. And leave Bronny alone.
And part of my last words, man, is just keep tapping in with us. We love to talk sports, throw our own little spin on it, or give our own opinions. Do a little trolling in between, nothing too heavy right now. We will be breaking down NFL, college. We'll do NBA sparingly, just depending on what key matchups, because those guys don't play. They do a ton of load management and everything like that, so it doesn't make every game really exciting to see what happens. But we'll keep the NBA, of course, in our back pocket. But just keep rocking with us. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We appreciate any support. And just keep on the lookout for different posts that I make on Facebook at Ivan D. Curtis. And as I always say, if you don't remember anything else, remember I'm here to laugh, show love, promote, talk sports, movies, joke, and troll. Catch you on the next episode.